for bans.
So I am expecting a Kale ban as well. That was the big champion that got first picked a heck of a lot from Meet Your Makers. The Jace ban actually works a lot as well. They did run that before. That was actually one of the big sort of cornerstone champions that let them win the match against Millennium. That very second game there at the semifinal. That's a really important ban to get rid of. So certainly you're showing that Pain has done the research and knows kind of the important champions that have played here. Olaf just being banned out again and again and again. We haven't even seen him played yet. He seems just afraid of that champion.
Although he was actually left out of the bans in the very first match.
I think he was actually banned in that one.
Was he banned?
I could have sworn he was banned in that one.
I don't know if he was, but anyway, Kha'Zix wasn't in that first one. He wasn't banned out, and then he wasn't picked either, so that was a bit odd.
Yeah, that was actually unique, certainly seeing that. Now, this is the most recent patch right now with the nerfs onto Evelynn and the nerfs onto Kha'Zix, so they're a bit weaker than before, but yeah, with Elise getting kicked out there, let's see what MYM's going for.
We have at least that final ban. What are they going to go for here first? Probably safe, or they could just go all in for that Twisted Fate, which we've seen being banned against Charu time and time again, and Meet Your Maker's going to take that opportunity here. And
that's a very, very wise first pick, but also a very interesting one, because pretty much the only mid laner even removed from this pool is kind of Jace. And so, I mean, taking Twisted Fate, knowing full well they have everything possible to counterpick you, takes a lot of courage, and right off the bat that tells me that's a matchup I really want to watch. Because Twisted Fate, I feel like he has some bad matchups, and he's going to be able to have to withstand those.
So we see that Katarina actually locked in along with the Nocturne, which actually was in the lineup against them in their first game when they lost to Nex. When they beat Nex, I should say, to correct myself. That Nocturne diving constantly. There's a Mordekaiser. Don't think so.
Yeah. See, now they're getting booed for that now, because that is mildly disrespectful. Yeah, it's mildly disrespectful as well. So it's what Jason picked up on in the second game, and now the crowd are actually getting behind their team, and they don't like the messing around with the picks and bans.
Well, I have seen that a fair amount. And now they cheer. I love that, by the way. This is a great setup overall. Meet Your Makers has a very, very good team, and it's nice because they've seen Nocturne and Katarina. They see a team that wants to dive onto them, and they picked up Zyra for counter initiation. Zyra, much like Cassiopeia, much like a whole bunch of champions who are great with Brave.
So that's the Draven lock-in. BRTT is one of the best Draven players around in the Brazilian scene. That's been said before. Always love to see a Draven in there as well. I mean, we saw it at the LCS qualifiers, actually, Draven, and in Katowice that Draven can be a real menace.
But you're seeing a lot of really scary things on both these sides. Yes, you know, Draven and Territ together, I feel like they're going to win that matchup outright, but the problem is there is a very resourceful team here from Meet Your Makers. They've got great initiation, great counter initiation, they've got great, amazing gank presence. Twisted Fate is going to punish repeated Draven aggression so well.
It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out with the last pick in the hands of Pain once this last pick is locked in by MYM, which it is now.
Nivea. Wasn't Nivea banned in game one? Okay, Kassadin.
Okay.
So there's the counter pick. I like that a lot, actually. Kassadin is a huge, huge playmaker. We saw Ari do phenomenally just last game, and Kassadin sort of fills a very similar role where he's going to be all around the map, getting into ganks, and picking a highly mobile champion like Kassadin is like mandatory against Twisted Fate. He needs to show up to counter gank when TF goes for the ulti, so I like this Kassadin pick a lot right here.
And he is, by the looks of things, going to be playing with that teleport, which, you know, Charu is playing Twisted Fate. He's got that teleport built in, but doesn't seem to scare Charu away from having another teleport to go in there. I mean, he's one of the players that really, for a long time now, has been utilizing teleport. You said in that last game that teleport is becoming a lot more of a standard pickup now for these mid laners. I mean, we had the phase where it was often in the top lane, but now it's really settled in this mid lane that you really need a teleport in there.
And it's really wise, because basically the first thought was that teleport sets up really, really good ganks. It lets you put pressure on the other lanes. It lets you really kind of hamper your opposition. But when you ran
the aggressive early jungler, the Xin Zhao, or Xin Zhao I should say, but you also have Sir T, the shot caller, coming in for Pain, Jason, and he made things happen on Amumu as well. Hit those long-range attacks, him calling the shots, telling his team, you know, those are going to be long lane ganks, are going to be really big coming up in the early part of the game, and we just see him setting up here for the level 1.
And not to mention, we got BRTT on his Draven, which I am really excited to see after we saw Hosan from Dragonborns playing him over the European LCS, and then we got Kassadin. I mean, Fnatic versus SK and Intellectual versus Katowice, an insane play by Xpeke, and I'm sure Cammy can pull something off like that if he needs to.
You can see the pings going down. 4 wards coming out for Pain already, Jay.
Yeah, that's actually pretty insane. They really want to. They really want to cover their side of the map just to make sure they don't get invaded, because Meet Your Makers, they're really well known for that level 1 early engage or early action, and by denying that, they can get themselves a clean jungle path and get Nocturne leveled up. Surti obviously going to need that level 6 to actually get some really strong ganks in, but you know, by this coverage, they should be able to do that, and it should be a very solid game. I don't really expect First Blood to happen too early, Riv. I mean, what about you?
You don't see the Wraith ward coming in anymore. A lot of what the support items have done is allowed for that quick ward, so you can still go do whatever you want in lane. But they haven't even gone for that. They're not going to have the jungler paths, so it may be pretty scary once these junglers come into play. What they can bring to the table. There's going to get a lot of help here on blue from TF onto Xin. And we're going to have to see what they can do. A lot of help as well down into the bottom blue because of the AD carry being there.
Yeah, actually, the one thing that I just spotted is that BRTT already got the wolves. He's already pretty much 75% of the way towards level 2, and when he hits that level 2 action, there is going to be a kill bot lane, I'm pretty sure. If Mackler, obviously going to blow that cleanse with that stun, but if he gets at level 2, he's so deadly, and if he gets some sort of foothold in your lane, it's going to be just ridiculous. But we do see an overall lane swap right now. As you see Twist of Fate in the top lane against Katarina. We have the AD carry and the support in the middle lane, and then we have Rumble in the bottom trying to 1v2, so he's going to be denied quite a bit.
Zyra putting down a very early ward down in that middle. We can see Mackler along with him in mid, and they're really, like you said, switching this one up, just trying to shut down Cassin in that mid. He wants to get his lane away from the turret, but not much he can do there as they still are pushing in on him. We see Mackler coming up onto Surti, gets a few shots, and they're already starting that invasion. Like I said, with Xin, you can do things like this.
And I really love how they're denying as much jungle creep as possible from Nocturne. They keep this up because if he doesn't have that level 6, he can't be that threatening in the entire game.
Exactly.
Libic even going to pick up that big Wraith himself, keep that warded, and you're going to steal away the red buff away from Nocturne, which is, I mean, it's crucial. You have the fear, it's nice, but you need that slow to really commit into a gank.
So with the switch, which was different from the first time we see Moscow 5 doing this, they're just sending the support around with the jungle.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that.
And what's funny is if you run like a Nunu, you can do that even better just because you can consume those rays, you consume red just to help out. You can really deny a lot of, well, just a lot in general, but Libic still, he has plants, and that is a huge factor.
And we can see Charu just pushing up this lane. T2 not too bad of a farmer. Katarina is at the turret, so he's not having too much trouble. Jaru is going to be able, however, not have a super laning phase for damage, but he'll be able to farm well. Able to push that lane, and once he gets 6, he'll be able to teleport all around the map. They have a good push here on the mid onto Kami. Nothing going down.
I really like this play, actually, by trying to get this turret as quick as possible. If you make it so Kami can't get level 6, he can't roam around, he can't get to that bot lane or that top lane to really get it, because check out the bot right now, they're so overextended. Pain pushed up against the turret here, trying to go for that damage onto Rumble, but by taking this turret away, you deny him the ability to do that. You deny him getting that level 6 very quickly. And Meet Your Makers, I mean, they're playing like a very different game right now. They really don't want to go 0-2 in the group stage.
That would not be the best thing for them to do. Being one of the non-underdogs coming into this and really having to play against the home team crowd makes it a little bit harder, but it's been a lot about experience this tournament for teams, and we've seen that just coming to the light. There's Kuban getting jumped on, Jay.
And he's actually going in for it. Still trying to commit to it. Does get the kill, but he falls for himself as well, and actually get the first spot over to, I believe that was Rumble.
It looks like they could try to take a flash down coming in. Mukate trying to chase in here. He does have the double buff, so he can get that charge in. He's got the slow, but the dazzle will return. So that'll be somewhat countered off as TF actually went out of top. You can see Surti actually trying to make something happen here, but they're going to come up with nothing.
Yeah, but they're going to punish the hell out of that play out of Chara. Teleport down towards that bottom lane. Going to push this top turret very hard. Try to make it so Katarina can roam around a little bit. Maybe get her Warmogs if she's going to go for that first item, which we did see in game number 1. T2 did that exact same build. But Libic, I mean, he's kind of roaming around just like you were saying. He's pretty much applying pressure to, well, at least the top end, middle, and even the jungle just to deny as much experience. And, well, at least saving that turret, because that really could have gone down extremely quickly.
Ping's going down in mid. What do you feel that these guys are trying to do? We see the aggression from Meet Your Makers, Jay, but it's not really giving them everything they want. They went to the jungle and they denied so far, so I guess it's just kind of waiting it out until that can really come into effect.
Well, if anything, they're actually getting a little bit of an advantage right now because in terms of CS. In the top lane, we have 32 to 22 CS with the TF versus Katarina, as we do see Rumble switching back up there right now. And in the AD carry lane, Misfortune's still in the lead over Draven. And in the middle, I mean, we have, actually, sorry, well, technically, he's again higher than the other AD support, but looking at Cassin, his lane opponent, he's almost double the CS at the moment, and that's really going to hurt Pain. But as you saw last game, or the first time they played against Nex, they were behind pretty much good portion of the game, but just that one good team fight, they can always have the potential to come back.
So with showing themselves here and there, the junglers finally make a first pass around the jungle to their golems, to all of their regular camps. We'll see them coming back out here. Looks like wriggles for both and a little bit of movement speed, so it'll be all about that objective control and clearing their jungles really fast for this really still early, not even mid-game yet. They're trying to figure out these lanes and still feel out this lane swap. Kami not really asking for any help in mid. We haven't seen Sir T coming there. They're saying we're going to play this safe, and we'll just use what we have with this team comp later.
And the thing is, if you go for a lane swap like this, you need to get that turret. That's the end goal, is either to deny that opponent the CS, the farm, and get that turret as quick as possible. You see in the mid lane, it's down very low. Towards the bottom lane, has a lot of health left to it since Rumble did get that kill on the turret. And that's really going to cause some problems for Pain if they can't really make something happen out of this.
Kuban in the bot still getting harassed at his turret, 37-15 in what is somewhat of a slop lane. Yeah, swap lane. But T2 is in a 1v1 situation, and that's going to be way better for the Katarina.
Well, there goes the first turret of the game, going over to Meteor Makers in the mid lane, and that is
the ultimate top from T2. He gets yellow carded down, but I don't think he's got enough damage. The wild cards only tick there, so a little bit of aggression as that turret goes down in mid.
Yep, well, I mean, yeah, as we're saying, mid-turret down, gets a lot of control from Meteor Makers now to get in the... I'm really surprised Charu hasn't really gone for an early home guards on his boots, because he was back at base. He could have, home guarded out towards that fight and probably, turned it around, well, not turn it around a little bit, but, could have committed to Dragon off of that if he wanted to, but instead, he's going for like a hunting guys.
Mukate getting caught out here, and it does not look like he's going to make it out alive. One more attack from Draven. He picks up the buff and the kill. A little too aggressive here coming out from MYM.
And that crowd is going insane, as you can probably hear through our microphones. They are just... Boy, I know you wanted to say something earlier as you saw the camera on them, as they're being so excited, but I guess we'll let that one slide for now.
There was so much excitement, the guy was like, I have nothing to hold up. So he grabs a 90% empty water bottle, and he's like, water bottle, whoa! These guys are just so much intensity, and that's exactly, Carmack just tweeted, he's like, I'm afraid for MYM in this game because of the crowd.
Yeah, it is really... I mean, you saw them picking Mordekaiser, and the entire crowd started booing at them, which is something you want to do. You don't want to troll Brazilians at all. And then even when Pain picked it up, as everything else does... Oh, top lane. Twisted getting very low right now. Might get dove on turret.
And there he is, yes, going in. Charu's going to get the attack down. The Ignite continues to tick, and he will be able to take him down as he just closely exits the lane. Sweetly just walks away. Knew he had the kill.
Yeah, you can kind of say that the cards are clearly not in his favor right there, and that's the thing. Katarina, I mean, hasn't built any damage just yet, sitting on 13 AP and still got that kill in the end. It's only going to get that much more deadly for Twisted Fate when she gets that Warmogs, gets Sword Boots, goes towards that Haunting Guys. But towards the bottom lane, we do see right now that the turret's actually being pushed quite a bit. Rumble picks up a kill on a Tarek, but Nocturne ultimate coming in as Kami comes in from the side.
And they are going to try to take this one down. We see him coming in, throws his ulti out, but they're not really going to make anything come of this.
Yep. Well, still, I mean, if anything, it was defensive. You held them back. You prevented the turret from going down. You prevented any kind of kills happening besides that Tarek. So not a bad job. But MIT though, feeding over those 2 kills now currently over to Meteor Makers, and they have Rumble. He's 3-1-2. We have Misfortune, who's 1-1.
TT getting caught out here. Could take a good amount of damage. The Ignite is on. Looks like he will live. No, that's not Ignite. That was pure impure shots. And a lot of pressure from MYM here. Every lane is just getting aggressed on, and we don't even have time to cover these.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the cameraman, Riv.
I was all over it.
Yeah, you were. Great job. I swear Garen was actually controlling the camera, but anyway. But Meteor Makers pushing this bottom turret, going to secure the second one of the game, and that just really gives them a lot of gold that they're going to need. They're already ahead in gold, but gives them even just that much more of an advantage because Rumble has the Haunting Guys done. We see Zen going for that Madrid's Razor, eventually into a Wriggles Lantern if he wants to. Twisted Fate even has a Haunting Guys, which I can't even think the last time I ever saw that as a first item or an item ever on Twisted Fate.
It's all about the pen health right in the beginning. People are loving that, actually. We see it on Rumble as well. It just gives you a lot of sustain in lane that you require, and then you're able to move on from there. Looks like a little bit of aggression here. We did see Kuban trying to go hard onto T2 just a second ago. Draven still in this bottom lane, just farming away as we look at the CS. 67-82. That mid lane has proved very useful in the swap coming out for Mackler.
Yeah, very true. I mean, the thing about Draven is he has 2 kills, so he at least has some sort of foothold, but you need that early game aggression. You need to be able to get those early game kills to really pressure your opponent. Just like a Tarek Urgot lane, you have to get those kills. You have to push them back and deny them as much as possible. But we do see finally, looks like the support and AD both going to be at this bottom lane, and as I say that, Draven and Tarek back out.
Yeah, their tower is actually gone, so they really don't have much use anything. Now they got some wards down, so they can be cautious, or it can be dangerous, I should say, coming into this one. As we move back down. Mackler's still farming away. 88 above. That's not too much, but he does have the BF. He almost finished the Bloodthirster, rather, to the 2 kills and finished Bloodthirster of Draven. So you can just see how much BRT is trying to get himself up there for his team. He's trying to get those kills under his belt because he is the one to watch. You heard the crowd yell when we saw that Draven come on the board, and he's really going to make some impact plays for his team here.
Yeah, very true indeed. And one thing that kind of prevents him from doing that, at least preventing him from roaming around getting a couple kills, is Libic. Already has a Ruby Sightstone 11 minutes in. He's 1-0-3, has 8 CS. He has that first item to just give him so much control, so much vision. As you can currently check down towards the bottom river. They have a pink ward on Dragon. They have 3 wards on the side of it as well. They just have so much map control that's really going to be hard for Pain to do anything about this. So we're going to need to see some pink wards coming out eventually.
They had one that was used in their bush, so definitely trying to control that laning phase. They did somewhat well. They've kept the game even except for the gold part. The kills are there. We've seen gold go 10,000 in one favor and then flop to the other side. We saw it with a 9,000 gold lead this tournament already. A good group here coming in from the team. Mukate is on the bottom, so we're going to see what they can do coming into middle here. If they can push down this turret, it's going to be some good map control for them. But really, both teams very slow right now. After losing their turrets, Pain doesn't want to make too many moves because they don't have too much vision other than their jungle, as you were saying, kind of just warded there. But you pointed out again, also, Meet Your Makers has vision all over. You can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wards across the map, to actually a lot coming out from Pain as well, so call me a liar.
Well, no, I completely agree with what you're saying, though. At Pain, they're playing really passive right now because it seems like they were caught off guard by how aggressive Meet Your Makers was playing.
Right.
I mean, they're constantly gaking lanes of 3 people. They had the AD carry support in the mid lane against a Kassadin. Even the bot lane, Rum was able to pick up that first blood. We do see Twisted Fate going in on Draven.
There he is, caught in the bottom lane, and they're going to get the MF ulti down as well. A quick kill there. They're going to be able to walk out of this one. Tarek backs off to gather with the team. You can see somewhat of that push down bottom, Jay, but this is going to look like a dragon coming up.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. I mean, look at it. They're taking that blue buff away. They have that pink ward still on Dragon. Why not go for it? And they do have enough ward control to see anyone coming in on Pain. And that will, like you're just saying, getting that first dragon of the game, give them even more of a goal lead. And like I was trying to mention before, the Meet Your Makers looking completely different right now. They really, it seems like they took that blue break, they had that loss, and just talked about it, and just completely, brushed it off, and are now coming back full force.
And there goes the Dragon over to MYM, 20,000 gold, 21,000 to 16. So they got that 5K gold lead, 2 turrets of map advantage as well. 14 minutes into the game, Jay. It's still in anybody's game. You have to say that almost until like 15, 20 minutes because anything can happen. That Draven still has to come into play here. He did go down, but he has that Bloodthirster. The Bloodthirster now on MF. The lanes are now, coming to the 5v5s. We're getting out of that phase. What are we looking for these team fights? I pointed out that Sir T was going to be calling those shots from long-range Nocturnes, but you have a TF as well.
Yeah, well, Pain, they need to get some team fights in. They have that Katarina, they have the resets, and they have the damage on top of that with the Draven, with the Kassadin, with Katarina. Even Nocturne puts out a good amount of damage to really force these fights and force someone to get low. Because you look at, Chara right now, he only has that Haunting Geist for health, picks up a neutral large rod. We have Mackler, who's still relatively squishy, has the Bloodthirster, though, to help out. And then Libic, who's just, Zyra is one of the squishiest supports, I guess, not necessarily behind Sona, but so if you get the damage down, you're going to get the resets. Oh, man. He's going to get the kills, and they are going to go for a dive.
The read coming out here by both teams. They're going to dive straight in onto this fight. Here comes Sir T from long range. Kuban goes down. The reset comes up, but forced out. The Ignite is onto Katarina. We see the Libic focus right now, but it's Mackler on the outside. He is just able to take him down. Mackler coming up with 1. It's a 2-for-1, but they're still able to hold the aggression.
Yeah, and not to mention, it was 2-for-1, and they were down about 5,000 gold off top of that. So they were able to pick up a couple of kills. In the meantime, though, Xin is pushing that bottom lane. They had to commit all 5 members to really, fend off that push, which in the end, they're backing out anyway. So Meet Your Maker's still going to get this turret. And I don't really think Pain has a response for this. We saw them come back in the first game versus Next, being far behind.
Scary stuff.
Oh, so I was waiting for that Dapple to come out.
No, exactly. It looked like it was going to happen, but they did not reach it in time. Meet Your Makers is playing this very aggressive but very safe. There's a yellow card on the fingertips of Jaro at all times right now.
Yeah, and it's Twisted Fate. I mean, we talked about before, it's kind of hot or cold. It's hit or miss. You can't really have a medium game. You either have a really solid game or a really bleh game, as a sound I'm going to use. And right now, I mean, I can't really decide which one it is yet because he's doing very well in CS. He has 2 assists, doesn't have any kills, but he's still playing extraordinarily well. He's roaming around with his team. He's creating opportunities like you saw at the bottom lane, and he's really helping MYM keep this gold lead they currently have.
We see him pushing up mid a little bit here. Libic on the backside of Mackler, so they have power and numbers with the buddy system, but here comes Katarina and Kassadin. I'd say that's a little bit scarier if you're going to get burst down. They choose to back off. The wards still going down for each team as they remember to ward offensively and defensively. You can see Offensive wards going down to keep track of where the engagements are coming from, if any dragons as well. That'll be coming up within the next about 4 minutes. Vision wards already over towards Baron, actually, from both sides. These just for ganks. But once we see that Oracles, we'll really know they want us to take the big objectives, not for about 10 minutes, though.
Yeah, the problem right now Pain has is that Tarek currently has no Sightstone at all. Doesn't have the Ruby, doesn't have the default one. So his ward coverage is really going to run out. And because of that, the rest of his team has to help out. As you see right now, Nocturne sitting on those those two wards. They have to help him because there's no way he can really do it. He has at least one GP10 to keep that gold income coming, but he's still down 800 gold compared to his counterpart. And that's a lot of wards.
So how does this work out, though? So let's balance this off of the fact, and probably because he did so much better, but Gosu buying just pink wards.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Gambit Gaming, they created opportunities off of that.
Right.
And currently Pain doesn't, well, they just haven't been doing that. They were creating opportunities with Dragon, they're creating opportunities with 3-man gang spotlight, 3-man gangs everywhere, and they really start taking turrets heavily. It works, but it's more like towards the early game when you can actually get those ganks off successfully, because right now, like you're saying, it's pretty much just all the teams going 5-on-5 against each other unless there's a split push happening.
And Kuban's trying to do a little bit of that, keeping Kassadin on the bottom side, but Kassadin, one of those champions that can move from lane to lane quite quickly, so he is more than happy to take that down. Not take it down, but just guard it as well for his team. Kuban still wants to keep the pressure on, warding for himself. Looks like a lot of members actually keeping those wards. The Flask being purchased up by TF there later in the game as usual now. And we see it could be a push coming into the jungle. A lot of pings going down. Bukate coming out from the side here.
Yeah, Twisted Fate actually ulting in, but not really going to commit to it. No point in giving away a couple kills. You see, go to the mid lane. I love that, by the way, in the minimap, because you can see where he's going. That's perfect. It's always hard as casters to see where he's actually teleporting to.
It's so good.
It is.
So this mid lane push again coming up from, or rather mid lane backing from Pain.
Looks like we're going to see BRTT pick up a static Shiv now, as he has an Average Blade already. And it's an item mostly used on AD carriers who don't have exceptional wave clearing power. Just to do 100 damage to each minion and kind of push it as much as possible. So not a bad item for him. But the problem is he's still very, very squishy. He doesn't have that escape mechanism. He has his E to really kind of push people away. But when you have a Rumble slowing him down, you have Xin Zhao who could potentially knock him out into the enemy team. You have a yellow card out or a gold card out, Twisted Fate. Even the Zyra ultimate and the Grasping Roots. You're not going to be moving too much. He doesn't running a cleanse on top of that. So he's going to need to at least get a little bit tanky.
All the harass trying to go around. This is not good for Pain right now, but it's not terrible. Right now, the not good is the fact that everything's being dictated by Meet Your Makers. The not bad is nothing has happened from it yet, so they still have time to push them back off of this.
Yeah, very true. I mean, you look at Draven right now, he's caught up in CS, was down about 20 to 30 from the laning phase, but now just 7 behind. He's pretty much matched up with Mackler in terms of items. However, Mackler, with his ultimate, with that Black Cleaver, provides so much more damage for his team. But then on the counter to that, you have a Tarek. You have the armor from him who gives it to his entire team. You might even see an Aegis built up for Nocturne eventually, which doesn't look like he's actually going to be going for. That might help against the entire enemy team because they have so much damage. They're not that tanky, but they really have that damage on their side, which we saw Next do against Pain in game number 1.
Now looks like the tables have turned. They finally got them off their turret. Like we said, it wasn't a terrible situation, but wasn't good at the time. They found a little bit of ground here, Jason. So they still have the 5,000 gold lead in favor of MYM. The buddy system is completely in effect right now for everybody. There's TS on the map, and there's Nocturnes on the map. But it also means there's that special window to fight in when you can dodge that.
Yeah, I mean, if Pain gets a hard engage on a Meet Your Makers without position, not ready, not to mention the Nocturne ultimate helps prevent the Twisted Fate ulti, they can easily pick up a kill or two. I mean, they easily have the ability to snowball these entire fights if they choose their fights wisely. And without the ward coverage right now, without being able to see exactly where MYM is going and where they are, it's really hard to get those engages off.
And you can see them kind of baiting this out. They're walking to it to see how much movement they can actually get out of Pain. All these wards that are around here where Cat is backing on the mini-map just allow them to get one more easy dragon. A 6,000 gold lead gets a little bit farther. And it looks like they just continue to push in here. They are not worried about anything right now.
It's just not looking good for Pain in general, but we do have finally the Rod of Ages down on Kassadin, which that is his first item of the game, 20 minutes in. It's really sad to be that, had your first item 20 minutes, but still, it helps him snowball, gives him extra health, makes him tankier, gives him extra mana so he can rift walk around. But we do have MYM trying to go for a 4-man push on this bottom turret, and they are up against 4 members of Pain as Draven coming back to lane as Twisted Fate as well, heading over towards this bottom turret. So we might see a really huge team fight happening, but the thing is, MYM doesn't have the ability to tank the turret and dive them.
And we just saw the pings going down onto Zaru, but he throws down a ward as well to make sure nobody comes around behind. Looks like they're going to set this one up for a full 5-on-5, just face-to-face. This minion wave is going to come in. Flame Spitter for a little bit of damage. They do get T2, but he's going to be able to shove Poe out of there, taking half damage. So
Good
just
damage.
back and forth. Yeah, the poke is going to be right now in favor of MYM.
And what I see MYM doing right now, since they're not that tanky, they're pretty much all DPS, is Charu. He's going to be the one to get a solid initiate, maybe ult into the center of their team. Pop, I was just going to say, pop his Zonias just so he can, you know, get them off of him and really open up the opportunity for their team. But, you know, obviously with that down now, going to have a hard time going for that kind of strategy.
Gold TF. TF gold every time I see that. So this turret getting teleported down right there. Charu's going to quickly clean that up, gets the red AoE down. He's not worried about it. He's like, you know what? I'll spend a minute up here and get my Zonias back. My bad.
Yeah, use that teleport up there, which
Ooh.
is good and bad. We do have finally Pain pushing out into the enemy team, but not that that's going to be there. I mean, MYM's doing really good control of that dragon. They're really denying a lot of buffs, a lot of jungle creep over to Pain, and it's really, for lack of a better word,
their way back up the ladder, though. They're climbing slowly but steadily. It's still a 6,000 gold lead. They've closed the kill gap, easy for me to say, as this turret is being protected here by top. And it's just really been Kami, the one to soak up all the creep score here. We'll see. Actually, he's like a 109 to 144 of the top lane, T2.
Yeah, but the downside is that he has to be there with his team. He can't afford to split push at all. He has to be there to help out. Nocturne's only that really has an opportunity to. So he has to be there. He's, you know, wasting time. He's behind in level. He's level 12 compared to Charu, who's level 15. You even have Cubon, who was bottom lane level 12, and then Makler, who's level 13. So just overall, he's kind of just behind. But, you know, the longer the game goes on, the more opportunities we create. Mikado, though, getting caught.
Checking over to Sir. Mikado actually going to dive back in. No, he wants this, but he gets stand aside from Draven there. It doesn't look like they really want to engage on this just too much. They start backing out without full vision of the enemy team. And as we were saying, CS before, great job by Charu in that top lane. 202 to the 145 of T2. So props to that, and more than 60 CS ahead.
Yeah, I was really hesitant about that teleport from him, you know, off the bat, but it's helping him farm so much. It's really keeping him in the game. The Zonias is done. He needs to draw towards a Revenant Death Cap eventually. It's really keeping him formidable in the game. But, you know, Pain can't ignore him with just how much pure CS he has, how much gold he's accumulated, sitting at 8.2 thousand already. I believe he's actually he's actually second highest on his team.
Looks like they choose to push mid here. Makate grabbing up the blue buff again, and they have been all over Pain's jungle. This has been another big point. We really haven't pointed out that Kassadin has been denied blue almost every time. Rooted there, they're just going to worry about the turret, and that's really a safety thing. They said, we don't need to dive this. We have 150 gold coming to us. Let's back out. All the dragons have been in our favor so far. Yeah,
no point overextend, no point dying and giving Pain some sort of advantage to get back in the game, because they're gold. I mean, that is just insane amount. 7,000 right now with 7.6, almost up to 8. I mean, just in terms of items, they're so far ahead. I mean, Rumble has a Riley's Crystal Scepter compared to a Warmogs on his counterpart. So he's going to be giving them the slows and giving them the potential to chase down a team, even disengage if he needs to. And he has Xin, who's going for that classic Diamond Prox build where he goes for the Lock of the Iron Solari, which honestly is such an amazing item. I'm surprised more junglers aren't picking it up, because it gives you cooldown reduction, it gives you so much health, and it gives you a shield for your team. That really
gives the team like 500 health right off the bat in a team fight.
The game we just saw with Millennium versus Next, we saw
save Nunu.
Yeah,
in that last play.
It saved Fat Mama because he popped that.
So good. It was just glowing around him. I was like, oh my god! I remember that distinctly. Trying to guard down this mid lane. This is going to be tough for Pain, because there is a crap load of just wave clear and just siege stopping coming out of this Meet Your Makers team. So even if they do gain ground, it's going to have to be after a fight, and they're going to be hurt. So they may not even be able to push that much.
And speaking of a fight, who do they focus down?
It's tough. You can't look at Kassadin.
No, for Pain to focus down on Meet Your Makers.
Pain to focus down on Meet Your Makers. If they can do it fast enough, oh my gosh, coming in here, Zaru getting a few attacks down, so that Destiny ult is now down. But the jump on, obviously, is going to be on TF, but there's so much, TF, MF. But there's so much root, right? TF's just going to gold card you. MF's really the easiest one to catch, because everybody else wants to be in your face. Zyra's going to get in front of MF, throw down the grasping roots and her ultimate. So it's kind of just one of those compositions you're going to have to face dive behind for Makler.
You have to close your eyes and just start punching your way in.
Close your eyes.
And hope you don't die. But anyways, we do have Meet Your Makers 5-man push in this bottom lane. This turret should go down. There's nothing really Pain can do about it. BRTT currently not there, and Kassadin was forced to back away after taking that chip from Twisted Fate, but it's still, that's not even that much damage. It's not enough. He could easily assassinate the back line, but he just doesn't have the damage just yet.
So it looks like they're backing, but they're backing quite slow. No, they're definitely going to back. I thought they were going to try to re-engage on this one. All four from Pain, however, stayed in this. Actually, they are kind of... So they get that to go down. They have the Oracles, though. I thought they actually got it in a 3-shot. The wards continuing to go down, and here you'll see about the 26th minute of the game. No, the initiation coming on in Sir T. They find Makate out by himself, wasting that ult. Zyra pops up, and it's a beautiful Mackler ulti. They're going to put the equalizer down, Jay, and they come back.
Reset.
Death Lotus to pick one up. The reset indeed, but he is now the focus of Kuban, but Kuban has to turn away. Zaru finally gets back into the fight from base. He did not have ultimate. That has hurt them for the first part of this, but only for the 1-for-1.
Yeah, 1-for-1, and that was still very close. Oh, to his fate, actually popped his Destiny again, going towards Katarina.
Oh, he does have his ultimate right there. He had about 10 seconds on it as I said that.
And with all that CS, with all those kills right now, his deck is very stacked. So you see Dragon coming back. I told you I had a list of puns. Dragon coming back up.
Not punny.
And Michimaker's going to be picking up this one, but though Kami waiting by the side, going to be forced away.
Dragon number 3. Coming up from Meet Your Makers here. If they can take this down, the gold lead stretches that much more. 9,600 gold in the lead. They're going to round up and just say 10.
Oh,
9-7.
Nope, stay right there. He's looking for Misfortune. Oh, actually,
he goes for the
away.
exit. The super secret agent exit. Nope, not going to go for Kuban. He
says,
this is fine.
Skin for Castleton. But that last fight, that was actually really well placed. Surprising, we had Xin Zhao go with the disengage with his ultimate Crescent Sweep. We had the Zyra ultimate actually knock up Nocturne, but the thing is, they were funneled into that tri-bush, and with that, Misfortune got off a perfect bullet time that just pretty much punished all of them. Then again, you saw 2-2 go into the back lane. He got Libic low, and that's what we were talking about before. Libic is like the squishy target. If they can get that kill on him, get that reset over to T2, then they can easily snowball this entire fight. Unless Makers gets tankier, which we do currently see them doing.
Rumble's going to get that top push on the, top push on the lane going down now, buying the Rylas, so he can't exactly be stopped out on that split push. He can just get himself out of any sticky situation and gather with his team back in middle. So he's kind of going for the tanky build for his team there. Zin, like you said, going for the lock of the Iron Solari, a little bit of tank there as well. And these guys both were in the middle of the fight last time, and we saw it really come up and help to stop in the engagement of that fight until Zaru finally got there. Looking at that window of ultimates that has actually been quite crucial for both teams. We saw a kill coming up with it as Jaru got his a little late on that fight. Surtees and Jaru's is back up now, so could be all out for both these teams in the next one, Jay.
Yeah, and in terms of items, I mean, going into the entire team fight situation is you have Makati has that Lucky Wrestler like we were mentioning, and he has a Shuralias, which really helps because with that Riley Scepter currently on Rumble, if you put that ultimate down the Equalizer, they're not going to escape. There's no way. You have the slow from that, you have the slow from the Riley's, and they can just collapse on the entire team of Pain. And the thing is, Pain doesn't have the ability to just turn around that fight as, oh, he actually does steal away that blue.
Goes ahead, smites it away. Knowing they were coming there, TF's going to go ahead and teleport bot, so his ultimate is now down. And it looks like they may try to engage here as they go into the jungle. Caught out. Nice shield there going down into the Razor as he saves a little bit of damage here, Jay. But it looks like they're going to try to go aggressive and take this turret.
And that just shows you how far MYM is ahead because it was just Xin Zhao and I believe one more up there just sitting in that blue bush, and they could have easily gotten killed within a matter of seconds, but Pain, they just didn't have the ability to collapse into onto him as they do engage.
Oh, wow, the Shuralias goes off. The Locket of the Iron Solari as well, completely melted down here. Pain looks to be running for the fountain, but Sir T has a different thought in mind. Those shots from Mackler are taking a fifth of his health away, and he cannot afford to take that anymore. This turret goes down. This inhibitor goes down, Jay, and that is just a bigger advantage built for MYM.
And the gold lead, 12,000 now at this point. Not even going for Baron. What's the point when you can just keep...
They are going for Nexus turrets.
Yeah. And they should be able to get they might be able to pick up one, but they have to be very careful right here because if Katarina gets the reset when they're that low, it's just going to spell disasters. They do engage it yet again.
They're actually going to try to fight. They think they can refight this here. They have the Locket back up. They throw that down. The shield was not really utilized, so they're going to back out on this one. They like the Nexus turret, and that's just such a huge lead. You're going to have minions pouring down that lane. I think they're just going to go around the horn here, take some more down. TF actually going all the way top by himself to take out the turret.
Why not? Why not when he can? But I know, Riv, you've seen this multiple times, is you have that bottom inhibitor down, you have Baron available. It really forces Pain to just make a split decision, or a decision of to whether commit to Baron or let the enemy team have the Baron and just defend your own base. But Chara might get caught here, but I'm pretty sure he can actually fight this. Turret coming around from the back.
I don't know, mana to mana here. He's going to get dazzled up. He does have the blue buff, but he's going to have to get himself out of this quick. He gets rifted on and taken down. Great persistence by Pain. Those are the things they need to start getting.
Yeah, and his dice were clearly not loaded right there. I should just stop. Anyways, though, we have Katarina back to the mid lane just to farm away. And the thing is, Pain, if they keep picking up a kill or two like that, they could easily get back in this game. Then again, like we were mentioning, the bottom inhibitor's down, one Nexus turret's down. They have to keep someone there at all times. The thing is, who do you keep there? You can't keep Nocturne, who has the ability to actually get to Baron if he needs to, but he has a smite on him. So if he's too late, it's going to be a free Baron over to MYM.
So we take a look here around the cash monies, and there is 11,700 gold to Mackler, 9,700 gold to BRT. That is a ridiculous amount. 2,000 gold separates two of those champions. This should be near even. That's going to be really big, and that's where you just saw Mackler doing a fifth of a damage each shot to Sir T in that base take. Yeah, and with Draven, with BRTT not getting as fed as he needed to early game, he can't really do anything late game. His attack range is just too short. He does have stand aside to protect himself, but with just MYM's ability to get to him, we do have actually. Yeah, they're going in on Makate here. Cassidy rifted in, gets pushed away. He's going to be able to go back into the fight. Mackler's going to have to leave him here. No, the team comes around the backside, and they may be able to get this one down. He stays alive because he levels up. Oh my gosh, T2's going to try to get it in. He cannot get the kill. They've taken out 3 now. I cannot believe Makato just leveled up to save himself. Kuban still going in. He picks up the last 2. They completely ace the team and go for the last Nexus turret. What a great play out of MYM, even though Kami did interrupt that Misfortune ultimate, and as you're saying, Makate escaped, but he actually ends up dying anyways to a turret, unfortunately for him. But Nature Maker's going to go pretty much even now, 1-1, bringing Pain down to 1-1, and such a great game played, honestly, by both teams. That was crazy in the beginning there, back and forth. Both teams were getting their kills, very cautious. A matter of 14 wards placed on the map at one time when I was like, man, they have 6 to like 2, and then I counted and it just started multiplying. I think they might have placed some when I was saying it. They heard me, made me seem like an idiot liar at least twice in this game. But amazing play coming out, and once they knew they could start dictating the game, it was in that bottom lane. They had so many wards. Pain couldn't even pass through their own jungle, and then after that first inhibitor, it was just kind of like, let's walk around the outside. And the thing was, is that it was all because of Kuban. I'd say he's the MVP of that game. I don't want to analyze it too much because we have people for that, but I mean, he held down his lane, he held down his turret, ended up getting first blood down there, and didn't really get dominated like he should have. The lane swap as well, that put up Mac